The Fear Chronicles. How to defeat the darkness in your life. There's a voice that whispers to all of us. You know the one. It's the one that says, "You're not good enough." The one that replays every single mistake on a loop. For years, that voice was a deafening roar in my life. It was a shadow that dictated my choices and kept me playing small. This isn't just my story. It's the story of a darkness we all face. This is the Fear Chronicles, and today we're going to talk about how to finally step out of that shadow and into the light. We're going to talk about how to defeat the darkness in your life, starting right now. The amplifying power of fear. So what is this darkness, really? We can call it anxiety, self-doubt, or stress, but at its core, it's fear. And fear is more than a feeling, it's a force. Left unchecked, it doesn't just whisper, it builds walls. It's the invisible barrier standing between you and the life you actually want to live. Think about it. How many times have you skipped applying for a job because the fear of rejection was just too loud? Or stayed silent in a meeting when you had a brilliant idea, completely paralyzed by the fear of what others might think? This isn't just a feeling. It's a global trend. A 2024 report from the Global Entrepreneurship Monitor found that fear of failure is on the rise, with nearly half of all adults surveyed saying it would stop them from starting a business. That's the amplifying power of fear. It starts as a flicker of doubt and grows into a wildfire that tortures your potential. It tricks you into believing the comfort zone is a sanctuary when it's really a cage. And the rent for living in that cage, your potential, your self-worth, it's a life half lived. But here's the truth, that darkness isn't you. It's just a bad habit, a cycle of negative thinking, and any cycle can be broken. The first chapter, acknowledgement and compassion. So, how do you start writing a new chapter? The first step isn't to fight the darkness. It's to turn on a light, and that light is self-compassion. For so many of us, the gut reaction to fear is to beat ourselves up over it. We tell ourselves to be tougher, but you can't get rid of unkindness by being unkind to yourself. Real, lasting change isn't powered by criticism. It's powered by care. Researcher Kristen Neff breaks self-compassion down into 3 parts. First, be kind to yourself when you're in pain instead of being your own worst critic. Second, recognize that suffering is part of being human. You're not alone in this. And third, mindfully notice your painful thoughts without becoming them. You aren't your thoughts. You're the one observing them. How do you practice this? Start by treating yourself like you'd treat a good friend. You'd offer them support and kindness, right? You deserve that same grace. Try this. Place a hand over your heart, take a deep breath, and just say, "This is a tough moment. It's okay to feel this way. I'm doing the best I can." This simple act acknowledges your pain without judgment and starts rewiring your brain from criticism to care. Remember, you can't hate yourself into a version of yourself that you love. The journey out begins with the radical choice to be on your own side. The tools of transformation, rewriting your story once you've opened the door to self-compassion. It's time to get your hands dirty and start rewriting the fear narrative. This isn't about pretending the fear doesn't exist, but about changing your relationship with it. The first tool, become a detective of your own mind. This is the heart of cognitive behavioral therapy, or CBT, a highly effective method for managing anxiety. When that voice of doubt starts talking, get curious. If the thought is, I am going to completely fail this presentation, challenge it. Ask, what's the evidence for that? What's the evidence against it? What's a more realistic way to look at this? Maybe a more balanced thought is, I'm nervous, but I've prepared and I can handle this. You're not lying to yourself. You're just finding a more complete truth. The second tool, create a proof log. Self-doubt thrives where there's no evidence, so start collecting it. Get a journal and write down every win, big or small. A compliment from a coworker, a tough conversation you handled well, a time you acted even though you were scared. When the doubt creeps back in, open the log. You are literally confronting a feeling with cold, hard facts. It is tough for the shadow of self-doubt to survive in the bright light of your own proven competence. The third tool, take action. Action is the enemy of overthinking. Mel Robbins famously calls this the 5-second rule. The idea is that when you have an impulse to act on a goal, you have about 5 seconds before your brain talks you out of it. So, the moment you hesitate, count down 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 and move. Send the email, make the call, speak up. Action builds momentum, and momentum builds confidence. It proves that you can move forward with fear in the passenger seat. You don't have to wait for the fear to disappear to start living. Your Chronicle, these tools aren't magic, they're practices. They take work. The journey out of the darkness is a chronicle written one choice, one brave decision at a time. And you don't have to do it alone. The most powerful tool we have is connection. Share your story. If this is hitting home for you, subscribe and join our community. And in the comments, share one small fear you're choosing to face this week. When we share, we remind each other that we're not alone in this fight. Confronting the deeper darkness sometimes, the darkness is more than just self-doubt. It can be the long shadow of trauma, the grip of a phobia, or the weight of existential dread. When fear is rooted this deep, the path forward often requires professional support. Trauma can rewire our nervous system, leaving us in a state of constant high alert. Healing involves creating a sense of safety in your own body. Therapeutic methods like EMDR, eye movement desensitization and reprocessing, and somatic experiencing are specifically designed to help process traumatic memories and calm the body's fear response. Then there's existential dread, that fear of life's big questions. The antidote isn't finding one perfect answer, but building a life of meaning. This means connecting with what truly matters to you, your values. It means finding purpose, whether in your work, your relationships, or your creativity. And it means practicing mindfulness to ground yourself in the present, instead of getting lost in the what-ifs. Facing these deeper fears is an incredible act of courage. A therapist or counselor can provide a safe space to navigate these complex emotions. Reaching out for professional help isn't a sign of weakness. It's a powerful declaration that you are committed to your own healing. Conclusion: becoming the light, the story of fear doesn't have to define your life. It's just one chapter. This journey isn't about erasing fear that's impossible. Being human is feeling fear. It's about learning to acknowledge the fear, without letting it drive. It's about building the courage to act anyway. Today, we talked about meeting fear with self-compassion instead of judgment. We learned to become detectives of our own minds, using tools like CBT to challenge the stories that hold us back. We talked about collecting proof of our strength and taking small, decisive actions to build momentum. And, for the deepest shadows, we know that connection and professional guidance can help us find our way. The darkness is real, but so is your power to create your own light. Every time you choose compassion over criticism, courage over comfort, and action over avoidance, you write a new line in your story. You become the hero of your own chronicle. The person you want to be is being built by the brave decisions you make today. So, I'll ask you one last time, what is one small step you can take, right now, to step out of the shadow and into your light? Your story is waiting. Go write it.